Hi. What's up? Welcome to the left seat again. How you doing? But yeah, Roxanne was completely me. SNT. We're talking about SNT still. Roxanne was completely me. Dukester was pretty much me. He was my original, career mode character.
In 2K15.
In 2K15. And we brought him up to 2K16. And then he just kind of became a star in SNT. Douglas Big Ham Bacon was, we wanted a couple jobbers, but we wanted, this is gonna sound weird, we wanted serious jobbers.
Yeah.
Like, we wanted jobbers that it's like, oh, that dude's totally a jobber, but you see him all the time. Kind of like how, I'm trying to think of somebody, like how Damien Sandow was for a little while.
Yeah, or like Zack Ryder.
Or God, I was gonna say Heath Slater, but not anymore.
James Ellsworth.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of, like, you know, where The Miz for a while was like, he was, you know, like a
guy that's consistent.
Like a consistent jobber, but you love him because he's the jobber.
Yeah.
Like, part of his thing is that he's the jobber. So I was just kind of, like, going through, and I was like, oh, look at this doofy haircut. Look at, you know, and then I was like, oh, let's make him a vegan. Like, I don't know why I went with vegan. I think that was a little bit of a nod to Daniel Bryan back when they called him the world's toughest vegan. You know, back in the day.
I remember there's also, like, let's give him a satin lederhosen.
Satin lederhosen was because I was like, oh, look, the lederhosen. And then I was like, haha, you can make it satin. And I was like, well, wait, what if he's vegan?
It's like, it wouldn't be made out of leather.
It would have to be made out of, like, satin. Because I found the satin option.
Yeah.
And so then I just kept playing
They've added more in 2K17.
Yeah, so I just kind of, like, played around with it. Because I was like, because the thing about veganism is you have people that are vegan in terms of, like, food, and then you also have people that are vegan in terms of food as well as the products they buy. Like, all of their products have to be vegan. So I wanted to make Douglas Bacon, like, a true, like, everything he buys is vegan as much as he can. I kind of want to have a storyline where he finds out something he loves isn't vegan.
I was thinking about that.
And he feels super betrayed by it. Like, I think that'd be really fun. Maybe in the future that could be, like, a little, you know, maybe, I mean, not like a full storyline, but just like maybe he has a rivalry with somebody as the Meat Wave. Maybe they have, like, a rivalry with somebody, and he's like, your shoes aren't vegan! And then he, like, freaks out or something. Yeah. Like, that could be... Because I think he's in leather shoes, actually. I think I put him in yellow leather shoes. Now that I think about
I remember it now. We were originally planning him to just be, like, a general hipster, and then we got more focused on the vegetarian the vegan angle.
Yeah. I was making him, like, a huge, like, poetry hipster, which he still is. Because I was just trying to make, like, a fun jobber.
Like, a guy you want to see get beaten up.
Yeah, a guy you would want to see get beaten up. Like, he's kind of a dick. He thinks he's the greatest, like... But that's his character. Like, again, I went with, like, cocky, but, like, ridiculous in a way. Like, Duke Quinn is believable in his gimmick. Like, this could actually be a gimmick. Douglas Bacon, the reason his name is Douglas Bacon was because I thought it would be funny. So then I was like, wouldn't it be funny if you had a vegan whose last name was Bacon? And then I was like, oh, what if we called him Douglas Big Ham because he goes by Big Ham... Like, ironically, because he's vegan and he embraces it. Like, he embraces that his name is Bacon. So he goes by the Big Ham.
And a lot of these names came up through the random name picker. Not random, but...
No. It was the, the announcer.
That's what I was thinking. I just couldn't remember the name of it.
Because they have all kinds of names built in that you can be like... Like, Duke Quinn was completely because during my creation mode, I couldn't think of a name for this dude. So I was flipping through the announce names, and I was like, oh, Duke. Duke's kind of a douchey name. And I was like, well, what would... I mean, I say that, but, you know, I was like, that's a good name for him. Like, Duke. Oh, man. Like, yeah, I'm Duke. You know, like a rich kid name.
Yeah.
You know. And then... sorry to anyone named Duke out there. That's a really nice guy, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, what's a good name for a guy with the first name of Duke? And I just kind of, like, was looking through, and I was like, oh, Quinn. Duke Quinn. That's a great name. And so I just, like, stuck with it. And that just, like, became his name.
Bacon was the same way.
Roxanne Oxley was the same way. Roxanne Oxley was that way.
I know.
Because I found that that's a great way to name believable wrestler names.
Yeah.
is to just flip through there and pick 2 names that, like, I listen to their announcing together, like Duke Quinn or like Roxanne Oxley. Like, I listen to that and I go, yeah, that's a good name. Like, for some reason, listening to, the announcer just say it makes me go, oh yeah, that's a great name. Like, if I don't like it when I hear it, I'm not gonna like it later.
Yeah.
Even though you're not gonna hear that announcer actually say it. Like, if I can't hear it in the announcer voice and like it, then I can't go with that name. That's where Duke Quinn's name from. That's where Roxanne Oxley came from. That's where Douglas Bacon. Because we were just kind of like flipping the names. We were like, oh, Douglas, great name.
Well, I think we were making Roxanne.
Yeah, we were making Roxanne, and I was like, oh, Douglas Bacon. That'd be a great name for a guy. And we just kind of rolled with it, because we needed to make a few more people. Like, it's amazing when you realize, like, the creative process of some of these things. Like how hard was somebody worked on? Like, how hard was the most ridiculous character we have? One of the most ridiculous characters.
Yeah.
We have Douglas Bacon. Like, how much work actually went into creating something like that?
Like, I remember I think I've changed it a little bit since then, but when we first did it, his moveset wasn't...
His moveset wasn't the best.
I think we just did, like, the default...
Yeah, we did, and then we just changed up. We just changed up like his finishers and signatures.
Yeah, I've done
that
for some people, but like.
But then we went back and actually like fixed it.
Yeah.
And made it a little bit better. I know Duke Quinn has had a completely revamped moveset. He has gone through 3 or 4 movesets now.
I think 3.
3, because I know I kind of left the original one, and then we made another moveset, but I didn't like it. No, I liked it, but then you wanted to make him. I was like, yeah, that's good. But then you decided that we wanted to make him, like, an actual really serious character that, like, is actually really good and not just all talk. We wanted to make him...
Yeah, he's got flashy moves, but he still is good.
Yeah, like, originally, the way we had originally made him... If you go back to when Dukester first showed up in SNT, was that week 2?
Yes.
If you look, he has a completely different moveset that wasn't as good. Like, it was flashy, but he didn't have the talent to back up his words. So Gus was like, no, I want this guy to actually be really good. I want him to talk the talk and walk the walk, because we need a really good guy for that. So you just went back and revamped everything in his moveset.
Yeah.
I will completely give you that. I will take the idea of his design and character. I will give you fully his moveset.
Yeah.
I think I picked his finishers and signatures, though.
Yeah.
I think I picked those.
Because Curb Stomp is...
Yeah, the Curb Stomp,
we were perfect, like, douchey kind of move.
Yeah, we were like... I was like, oh man, like, you definitely helped. Like, we were flipping through, and we were like, oh, what about a Curb Stomp? And then we looked at it, and we were like, oh yeah, perfect. Like, that's...
Because the moveset can be one of the most time-consuming and boring parts.
It really is. It's a lot of you, like, looking at the moves and going, no, this doesn't fit that character.
Yeah.
Or like, no, that one's just too hard to execute. Some of them are so specific to execute that you never get them done.
Yeah.
Like, they just don't happen. And when you have a character that's going to be, like, a main character for you, you got to make sure they got a moveset that they can perform pretty easily.
Because I realized with Gunso Afro, who is Brandon, yeah,
who does the voice of Duke Quinn,
yeah, who originally I put in the YouTube title because he has a YouTube channel, but he's moved on. He's gone to bigger and better things. He's been the non-stop champion for a few weeks now. Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, continue what you were originally saying.
I have what I like to do is give everyone 2 finishers. And have at least one finisher be a standing in front finisher, because that's the easiest to do.
It's really easy to do those.
And then, I'll give someone a finisher off the top rope, or
give somebody a crazy finisher for their second one. That's they hit once in a while.
And excuse me. And for a while, Gunso's moveset was his finisher was a moon stomp off the top rope, which is just jump over, landing both feet pretty much on the crotch.
Yeah, which is
and a corner finisher for I don't remember if it was specifically Sweet Chin Music, but it was a super kick.
Yeah, it was basically like a Sweet Chin Music, but it was harder to pull off.
Yeah, you had to have yourself in the corner to set it up. Mm-hmm. So there's basically no way to just bust a finisher out of nowhere. You had to get him down.
Yeah, he didn't have a good finisher that you could just bust out for a while. Does he now?
Yeah, I want to say either change the super kick or he has dark matter.
Okay, yeah.
I think dark matter might be a finisher or a signature.
I don't remember, but yeah, no, it got to the point where like he never did his finisher to win, and it was like,
or he would it, or it'd be really obvious.
Yeah, it would be really the setup would be really obvious, and sometimes you want to bust that out. I wish you could take off the HUD. It's the one thing I wish. You know what I miss? You know what I'm saying?
I think you can. Mm-hmm. I've tried messing with it a bit, but it can make it really hard to know what's going on.
Yeah, and
if you're doing a simulation or something, that's one thing.
Yeah, but when you're trying to actually set up, like, who's gonna win...
Yeah, which I do all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
I
always laugh because I can usually... I'm like, oh, I can tell who's gonna win by certain things. Like, I'm not gonna divulge to you what that is, but, like, I can usually tell when we roll into an episode who's going to win, mostly because I know you... mostly because I talk to you about S&T a lot outside of... Like, I don't know if you guys know this, I have quite a bit of input on S&T.
Yeah.
Like, not all of it, obviously, but, like, I influence... I don't know, how much would you say I actually do influence?
I'd say the biggest influence you have is that you've made 3 of the most fleshed out characters in S&T.
Right, but I mean, like, other than that, like actually, like, helping, like, oh, yeah, you should do this, or, like, hey, why don't you do this,
probably,
or, like... You know.
Probably... I don't want to, like, put it too loud.
No, I get what you're saying.
30%? 35%?
Yeah. Or, like, you get a good idea off of, like, something, like, I say. Because I'm like, oh, yeah, what if you did this? What if you did that? Like, S&T is not just a one-man project.
I don't want it to be a one-man project.
Like, there's a lot of people that have a hand in this. Like, you've got voice actors that, you know, that do voice work on their own time... that send it in.
Yeah, so shout out to Brandon, Tim, Sensible Burger. He does...
Yep, Sensible Burger. I just recorded a promo today.
It'll be a while after this, but...
Yeah.
The promo right before... The last S&T before Warpath. Caitlin just did that today.
I just cut a promo for that, which I'm proud of because I did it all improv. We didn't have a promo, like, written for that, so I just cut, like...
We had everything set up to record...
We'd already had
Let's
everything.
Plays.
Yeah, so we were like, oh, what if... I was like, well, why don't I just cut a promo now? And I just, like, sat down and just, like, cut a promo with very little to go off of. I was actually pretty happy with what actually came out in terms of lines. No actual, like, finished product yet, but, like, you know, you'll let me know if I need to come over and cut something else. I'm over here pretty often, so it's one of those, like, this line didn't come out very well, just cut it again.
Yeah. Oh, and also shout out to,
I know. That's why I'm just like, okay, we'll do it again.
Yeah, Tom from GPW.
Oh, yeah.
He was a huge inspiration. I first started helping him because he wanted some help making a title belt for his universe mode. Mm-hmm. And that dude's got like 6,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And, I've given him up with storylines.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's do a different one. Yeah. Okay, go on.
So, and we started talking. I was like, I'm gonna make my own. And I was like, do you have any characters I could use? Maybe get started. And he gave me the Gatecrashers.
Yeah, he just handed you the Gatecrashers to use, which was really nice of him. He didn't have to do that. He could have said like, no, I'm not gonna do it. But he was like super supportive, and he's been super supportive.
Yeah. He still watches, at least to my knowledge, almost every episode.
Yeah, like he's been really supportive in it, and like. You guys have really also given quite a bit of support of like, oh yeah, like I like this. This is really cool. Like,
also that dude is a promo machine.
Yeah, he is. Oh my!
He's a one-take wonder.
God, he is good. He is so good.
I think Tommy Prime is one of the best heels in SNT.
He is so good. He's
a believable. Like I love Tyrannosaurus,
but like Tommy Prime, super believable. He's so believable.
Like Tommy Prime's like Brock Lesnar. Mm-hmm. Not Tommy Prime. Tyrannosaurus is like Brock Lesnar. He's like over the top, comes out, destroys, dominates.
And then
Tommy Prime's like the Miz, where he's just
he comes out, he's an asshole. He cuts promos that are fucking amazing. They're so good. Like I always am. I'm so impressed every time I see him and he cuts cuts a promo because he does such a good job. Like he has that character down so well. Like, man, I'm gonna give him. I hope he knows how much I adore his work in SNT. He's so good.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much work that goes into SNT that's why I had to go to every 2 weeks. Is partly because of time, partly because of how much it's evolved and grown, you know.
And trust me, one of the most annoying things is trying to get the gameplay right, because it's machinima.
Yeah, it is. It's
making film with video games. Red vs. Blue is the
It's really
the best example.
It's the front runner. It's what really started the trend.
And it's not as like in depth as like down there making them talk individually,
right?
Like just with the character models, but it's machinima.
Yeah, it is. It totally is.
And let me tell you, sometimes you have something amazing happen, and it just.
But then
it's perfect.
Mm-hmm, but
and
then
sometimes you have to redo Misfit versus Reviews at Summertime Blues 4 times.
Why?
It just didn't work out.
Oh. Or, sometimes you lose, and then you have to record a match again. Sometimes you just don't like how the match came out, like, in general.
Sometimes there's glitches or bugs.
Sometimes the match just comes out boring.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, ugh, I just don't like how this turned out. Or sometimes you're like, oh, what if I did this? What if I put him through the table? What if I do this? What if I do that?
I still play the game like how you're meant to play it sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like,
we play it occasionally.
Yeah. Like I was playing some My Career Mode the other day with a guy who I was going to bring up to SNT at some point, but haven't yet. Kerry Campbell.
Oh, yeah, I remember that
in My Career Mode is Intercontinental Champion. And he was having a match with Luke Harper, Extreme Rules for the IC title. Perfect finish. Luke Harper moon stomped through a table to win. I was so upset that I couldn't replicate that in SNT.
That's really sad.
I got it. I can put the clip up now. I got it recorded on
there you go.
A capture. But
there you go. Yeah, play it now.
Yeah.
Oh man, isn't that beautiful?
That's gorgeous.
So good. Anyway,
but it's just like it's really hard to do that kind of stuff. Even with I've seen other people do it. Even with 2 people, it's really hard to do.
Oh yeah, I mean, I haven't had to do it yet, but I always offer, like, if you ever need a specific setup to let me know, I will come over and, like, just plug in and help you out. Like, if you need someone to do a specific move, if you need, like, because I know sometimes you do plug in that other controller just to get something.
Yeah. Because I can't just have, it's like, I gotta finish up this end of the match, I want to have someone attack him, but I don't want him to attack me.
Right.
So I just
you just gotta, like, turn my controller on.
Yeah.
And just let it go. And I've offered more than once of, like, hey, if you ever need something to go a very certain way, let me know. I'll come over, we can record it.
Yeah.
We'll be good. Like, sometimes I've been known to be like, I'll come over and I'll be like, hey, about S&T, how about blah, 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 blah. Like, why don't we change this? Or why don't you try this? Or, or I'll be like, hey, this is good, but why don't you do this instead? And sometimes it comes to something, sometimes it doesn't.
There's a lot of things I want to do with S&T that just haven't happened.
They just haven't happened, and they probably will once,
As of this recording, it's 2K17 isn't out yet.
Right.
The most recent episode is episode 12.
Right.
Which came out this morning.
And so hopefully by the time, we get to 2K17, some of that can be resolved.
Yeah.
Because obviously not all of it can be.
Yeah.
It's never going to be perfect.
But there were so many wrestlers that never showed up.
Oh, yeah.
That I want to show. Maybe they showed up by now. Maybe Tony Braddock appeared.
Oh, maybe. Who knows?
Maybe Santa Claus showed up.
Maybe if this is fucking December.
Like,
yeah.
You get a lot of... There's a lot more ideas in my head of things to do that don't happen. And if I could, I would do it on a weekly schedule, but being in school and a job...
And doing guest reviews, and doing S&T...
Yeah, and personal life. I got my lady.
Right, and I'm telling you guys, I'm gonna let you know now. Like, our personal life has gotten to where we don't see each other a lot, very very little. You know what I mean?
Like we see each other, but we don't have a lot of time just one on one.
We don't actually have a whole lot of time one on one. Right now, because we've been super busy. It'll be like, oh, I dropped by work, or oh, I stopped by campus for 15 minutes to see you. But it just doesn't happen very often. So, because we're so you're so dedicated to making sure SNT gets done, to making sure Gus Reviews gets done, on top of, everything else.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta make sacrifices, or sometimes, you gotta do whatever it is you gotta do.
And that's why Gus Reviews aren't so frequent, because that's the one I sacrifice. SNT's on a schedule, Gus Reviews isn't.
Right. And it becomes like, what are you willing to balance and sacrifice?
And SNT is finally starting to pick up with some people.
Right. It's getting to where, like, I work 2 jobs, I
work a job and go to college.
Right. I really want to do Twitch streaming. I really want to get into YouTube. I want to do a lot of things. Like, I used to be a Twitch streamer at one point in time, but I had to drop it because of everything else going on in my life. I want to get back to it. I've just been handed this really good opportunity to work with Destiny and to, really get into recording some stuff with Destiny. And I'm like, do I take it? Like, I'm able to decide what kind of videos I want to make, and I don't know. But we'll continue that conversation in a bit.
Okay.
Bye.
I guess the episode's over then.